What's up, Steelers fans? I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather today, guys, so that's why I'm not in studio. But I wanted to get a video out to you guys because it came across to my attention here that there is a report out there from Benjamin Allbright, who, by the way, predicted every single head coaching hire in the NFL this year. He's very plugged in. Said that the Steelers are, quote-unquote, eyeballing quarterback Aaron Rodgers and his ongoing talks with the New York Giants, and are looking to quote-unquote sneak in potentially to sign the former NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP if his talks with the Giants kind of fizzle out. So today I wanted to get on camera here. Obviously, we had Steelers Talk live today. By the end, I was exhausted. I decided to go home, and I came across this report, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention because it certainly seems like if this report is true, that the Steelers quarterback search is far from over. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now, because if we get more developments, if Benjamin Allbright comes out with more stuff regarding the Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers or any other quarterback for that matter in NFL free agency, we're going to have you guys covered with a video this weekend, whether I'm feeling sick, whether I'm here at home, whether I'm at the office, whatever the case may be. Hopefully I'm feeling better tomorrow, but for now, let's get into this at-home video, where let's just start with what Benjamin Allbright had to say on a Twitter space last night regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation. Now, he was asked a question about Justin Fields going to the Jets, and he started his answer by talking about the situation in Pittsburgh. The first thing he said in regards to the offers that the Steelers have put in front of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, quote, Pittsburgh has lowball offers out to Russ and to Justin. I don't think Russ is going to be back there. Justin is a maybe. End quote. So it definitely doesn't seem like the Pittsburgh Steelers necessarily love either option. Of course, they've been telling the media, we saw Omar Khan say to the media at the NFL Combine that their preference is to bring back either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. But to this point, all they've been willing to give those guys is low ball offers. Allbright even saying that the offer for Russ is so low that he doesn't think Russ will take it. Then he gets to the Aaron Rodgers thing here, and this is where things get interesting. He says, quote, the Steelers are kind of eyeballing Rodgers and his talks with the Giants, seeing if they can sneak in there after that if that doesn't work, end quote. So it definitely seems like the Steelers are at least open to pursuing Aaron Rodgers, and this is brand new because all the reporting we had seen on Rodgers from guys like Mike Florio, Jerry Dulac, guys that are consistently wrong, by the way, they said, oh yeah, they're not interested in Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, they also said last year that the Steelers were not interested in Russell Wilson, and we all know how that ended up. So Albright, I kind of trust his word more than Dulac's and more than Florio's, some of the guys that have been saying that the Steelers are not interested in Aaron Rodgers at this point. And then something that Albright said about Justin Fields in particular, I think was very interesting as well. After he talked about Rodgers, this is what he had to say about Justin Fields. Quote, when it comes to Justin Fields, the knock on him throughout the league is that he's a guy with slow eyes, takes a ton of sacks. Everybody sees the athleticism, but the reality is he's scared to pull the trigger sometimes. Doesn't see it on the field when he should. I don't think anybody views him as any kind of starting quarterback in the league. At best, you're talking about a bridge guy, spot start guy that's got some upside with athleticism, some goal line packages, that kind of stuff, end quote. So Albright, at least according to his sources, the NFL is not very high on Justin Fields. So the reports that we're getting about a quote-unquote strong market for Justin Fields might be Fields' camp, kind of leaking that out to try and up the price tag on the apparent lowball offer that the Steelers have given Justin Fields to be the next starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But honestly, guys, I just don't think Pittsburgh is really all that interested in upping their offers. I think that they have submitted these offers because that's what they feel comfortable with. And I'm not sure if they're really willing to up their price on either one. And if either one is willing to come down to it, they might take them. But honestly, it sounds like they're kind of monitoring the Aaron Rodgers situation right now, which is extremely intriguing. Now, in terms of the potential of Aaron Rodgers joining the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that there are some benefits here that could potentially benefit this football team if he's the new starting quarterback. Now, obviously, a lot of people don't like him personally. They don't like his political takes. He can be very prickly, and he's not for everybody. He's not somebody that from a personality standpoint, a lot of people like. And when you combine that with a less than stellar season in New York last year, I can see why a lot of people wouldn't want to bring Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think when you watch his film and when you look at his stat sheet, like, he wasn't really that bad last year, in my opinion, especially towards the end of the season when he got that connection back with Davante Adams. He actually looked like a pretty darn good quarterback, and he was operating within an offense led by Nathaniel Hackett, who eventually got fired, but it was his offense the entire season. That is the worst constructed offense in the National Football League. If you think Matt Canada was bad at putting his players in positions to succeed, that offense was an absolute mess schematically, and that has been the case everywhere Nathaniel Hackett has gone. And when you put that into the context there of Aaron Rodgers playing in a Nathaniel Hackett offense, and you compare him to Russell Wilson in 2022 and Zach Wilson in 2023, Rodgers' numbers in the Nathaniel Hackett offense are actually the best out of those three. So, I think that Aaron Rodgers, when you watch him on film, he still has great arm talent. He still has that flick of the wrist. He hasn't lost his arm strength like, say, Kirk Cousins has at this point in his career. He still has great pocket presence. He doesn't move particularly well in terms of as a rusher. He doesn't move outside the pocket as well as he used to, but he still has that natural pocket feel to step up, know where to step up, where to step out. He's always been elite in that trait, and he still is. And then he's still one of, if not the most intelligent quarterback in the National Football League. Pre-snap, post-snap, he can get the offense into the right play. That is still very apparent on his film, in my opinion. Also, he fits the mold of what Mike Tomlin usually wants in his starting quarterback, right? He usually likes his quarterbacks to avoid the middle of the field because the middle of the field is where most of the turnovers end up happening. It's safer on the outside and towards the sidelines. I disagree with that philosophy from Mike Tomlin, but that is his philosophy, at least offensively. And Aaron Rodgers is somebody that shares that philosophy. He likes to go quick screen routes. He likes to throw goal balls down the sideline. And he likes to get into plays that are both safe and can generate a very efficient offense. So that is the way that Aaron Rodgers wants to play, and he protects the football. That's something very important to Mike Tomlin. He's a seasoned playoff veteran. That's important for Mike Tomlin as well. And then also, another added benefit is that you get an inline road to adding Davante Adams to this football team, who is still, in my opinion, a top 15 receiver in the National Football League. He's getting older, but he's still an elite route runner with an elite package, release package, and he can beat man coverage. He really came on towards the end of the season last year. If you had him on fantasy football, you would know what I'm talking about. His connection with Rodgers is still absolutely there. If you pair these two guys together, both of them have said that they are big fans of Mike Tomlin. I mean, I kind of like this option here if the Steelers are truly trying to make a run at a Super Bowl within the next 2 years to get Cam Hayward some hardware on his finger before he retires. Now, my take on the Steelers quarterback situation heading into this season, what I would do is I would do the same exact strategy that they had last season, all right? An older, experienced veteran to start the season, and then you have somebody that's younger that can be the quote-unquote long-term option if it doesn't work out. I think that was the right way to go last year. I still think that is the right way to go this year. So that would be probably Rodgers or Russell Wilson as the older veteran. And if you can put a better offensive line in front of them, better weapons, a better run game, I think that Rodgers and Russ could still be successful with this offense, especially if the run game gets going. But then, I lost my train of thought there. Then you can also draft a quarterback in Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart on day 2, somebody that can sit behind Rodgers, can sit behind Russell Wilson, whoever they choose as the veteran. And then, if Russ or Rodgers just stinks and the team is out of playoff contention, then late in the year you can turn to the rookie and see what they can do as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers and give them a little tryout without having to completely bank the entire season on that younger quarterback. And you might be asking, well, Jack, what about the long-term option they brought in last year, Justin Fields? Why wouldn't they go to him? And, I think that if Fields played better and if the offense played better in his 6-game stint with the Pittsburgh Steelers last year as the starting quarterback, I think that he would probably already be locked up, right? And I think that, those 6 games were not good enough for him to keep the job at the moment, and he hasn't started any games since, all right? So if you're really looking for somebody that you feel good, or at least you feel like gives them a chance to win and compete in 2025, I just don't know, based on the film that we have seen from Justin Fields at this point, that you can feel confident in that, at least in my opinion. As somebody that has watched every single bit of film on Justin Fields ever since, even going back to college, his senior year, his final season at Ohio State, and then every single snap in Chicago and every single snap here in Pittsburgh, I'm telling you, man, the things that Albright says that some of the people in the league are saying about Justin Fields, slow eyes, not pulling the trigger when he has open receivers, he has poor pocket footwork, doesn't really throw with a lot of touch down the field, takes a lot of sacks, he holds on to the ball for a very long time. There's a lot of issues that are still there for Justin Fields 4 years into his NFL career. And I think at this point, the chances of going with him as your starting quarterback and him establishing himself as a true franchise level quarterback is just very slim. All right. I think it's definitely less than a 5% chance. And if you're banking your entire season and and the chances of Cam Hayward potentially trying and having a run to win a Super Bowl on a less than 5% chance, in my opinion, that is something that I would personally not be willing to do. At this point in the NFL offseason, guys, I think we all can admit that no option at the quarterback position is necessarily perfect, right? If you bring back Russ or Rodgers, those guys, especially Russ has had, not as successful as seasons the last 3 years, and then Rodgers didn't have the most successful season last year in New York. So you're kind of banking on those guys having bounce back seasons, but then you're hoping for a breakout season from Justin Fields. And if I felt more confidence in his ability to break out, like if I thought the chances were 30%, 40%, 50%, I'd feel more comfortable going with Fields. But because of all the issues that he brings to the table, lack of anticipation, poor mental processor, both pre and post snap, a lack of touch, a lack of downfield accuracy. I think that, he doesn't have the cleanest upper body mechanics. He gets super loopy and elbowy at the top of his motion. And, I think the athleticism's great, but you have to have the foundation of being an in-structure playmaker, and you have to really execute an NFL offense at a high level to be a legit starting quarterback in this league. And I think that going with a veteran and then drafting a rookie that you believe in on day 2 this year in the NFL draft is probably their best bet to not only have success here in 2025 in the short term, but also continue to build for the future and maybe grab your future franchise quarterback. If I felt better about Fields being this team's franchise quarterback and fixing his issues and all that stuff, I'd probably be advocating for him right now. But because I have such a low level of confidence that he's going to be able to do that, I hope he does it, especially if he signs here, because, his success means the Steelers' success, and he's a great person. He's a hard worker. I really hope, and I really am rooting for Justin Fields because he deserves to have success. He truly does. But, as an objective analyst here that looks at the film, that does this for a living, there's just so many things that he needs to get better at. And in year 5, 4 straight years of the same issues with different teams and in different offenses with different personnel, I just think that the chances of him actually having that breakout season are quite slim. So personally, I would do what the Steelers did last year, get a veteran quarterback, whether that's Rodgers or Russ, on a somewhat team-friendly deal, and then bring in Devontae Adams if you get Rodgers, and then draft a quarterback on day 2, whether that's Tyler Shuck, whether that's Jackson Dart. Personally, I'm a Tyler Shuck guy. I think he'd be a really good option to bring in. Rodgers and Shuck would probably be my ideal quarterback room next year. We'll see how everything shakes out. But that's where I'm at with the Steelers quarterback situation here. I want to thank all of your guys' support. A lot of you guys have reached out to me after we had to stop Steelers Talk Live today because I wasn't feeling very good. I'm still not feeling great, but it definitely makes me feel better talking Steelers football with you guys. So thank you so much for all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll keep you updated all throughout the weekend. I'm off Friday and Saturday, so if more news comes out, we'll have more of these kind of at-home style of videos if anything develops at the quarterback position here. And then if they do sign a quarterback, I'll go into the studio and I'll do my best to go live for you guys in studio if they do sign Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, whoever this weekend. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. I will see you guys later. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.